Thank you very much. Now let's go live to CBS 2's Marcia Kramer in Massapequa Park. She's joined live right now by Long Island Congressman Peter King, ranking member of the Homeland Security Committee. Marcia?
Well, as ranking member of the Homeland Security Committee, Peter King has been getting secure briefings all day long, and he joins us. First question, how sophisticated was this plot, Congressman?
From all I can tell so far, very sophisticated, both as the type of device, the way that they were able to plan it. So this was very sophisticated, very well planned.
So I guess the question a lot of people have is, after 9/11, are we here in this area still vulnerable?
We're much safer. This plan would have worked on September 10th. They would have been able to carry out the attack on September 10th, 2001. So we've gone light years beyond what we were then. We're much safer, much more secure. But this shows we still have some vulnerabilities. We have to constantly be on our guard every moment of every day.
And it seems that the people involved were Al Qaeda members from the Arab Peninsula.
All the evidence indicates that it was Anwar al-Awlaki, who was the imam in Yemen, who was the head of Al Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, the same ones who carried out the Christmas Day bombing, the same ones who carried out the attack at Fort Hood.
So it's the same person, you think? There were reports that the bombs that they found may have had the same material as the underwear bomber on Christmas Day.
Yeah, we can't say definitely, but all the evidence right now indicates that this is Al Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. Anything terrorist coming out of Yemen goes back to al-Awlaki. That's the way it's been so far. So I'd be very surprised if it's anyone other than al-Awlaki.
Yeah, but here's the question. Is it over now? I mean, it's been going on for all day. Is this the end, or is this just the beginning? Is this a test run, or is there more to come?
The investigation is still on. There could be other ramifications to this. So no, we don't know if it's over or not. And everything is being explored. Everything is being looked at. This is a full-scale investigation by TSA, the FBI, all of the intelligence community, our allies, our friends. We do not know for certain it's over. This could be the beginning. It could be the middle. It could be the end, or it could be just a precursor to another attack. This could have been just testing our vulnerability for further attacks for Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Christmas. So, no, this is another, if anything, it's a wake-up call. At the very least, it's a wake-up call, so we know that this enemy is out there trying to kill us.
So it's actually probably a very good thing that Mayor Bloomberg and Police Commissioner Kelly have maintained such a high anti-terrorism presence in the city.
Mike Bloomberg and Ray Kelly deserve all the credit, because we are the #1 terrorist target in the world. It also means, though, that the federal government should be giving more money to the NYPD and the FDNY to carry out the job to protect us against this type of attack.
So what are we going to look for this weekend? I mean, are they going to stop searching planes at some point, or do you think they're going to continue to go after and look at every single plane that comes in from Yemen and any place in the Middle East?
I think, at least for the foreseeable future, we'll be checking out any type of cargo coming in from Yemen. But again, this investigation is ongoing. We could find out something in the next half hour that could change the entire direction, could add on to it. So you can see many days, I think, of intensive investigation, intensive activity, and it won't be over till it's over.
Well, thank you very much, Congressman.
Marcia,
reporting live from Massapequa Park, I'm Marcia Kramer, CBS 2.
And we continue our coverage with Congressman Peter King from Long Island, who is the ranking member of Homeland Security.
Congressman King, thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Good to see you again.
Very welcome.
I heard a government official say this afternoon that we're still a step ahead of the terrorists, that we've been able to, catch them at this point. But it seems like they are certainly awfully close right now. How close were they to actually pulling this off, and how concerned should we all be?
Well, we should all be concerned, because this is an enemy that is not going to stop. They're going to come after us and keep coming after us. But the fact is, this time the system did work. We had reliable intelligence we acted on. We acted in concert with our partners, the British and others, and we stopped the plot. But we can never let our guard down. I mean, if we had not gotten that piece of intelligence, these explosives would have gotten through. And we have to continue to be on our guard, because we don't know whether this is the end of the attack, whether it's still ongoing, whether or not it's the precursor to another series of attacks. We have the holidays coming up, Thanksgiving and Hanukkah, Christmas. Are they trying to probe? And it comes out of Yemen, which is the most dangerous part of the world right now, because that's where Al Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula under al-Awlaki is.
Well, Congressman, clearly aviation is still in the mind of terrorists. How vulnerable are cargo planes? Do security efforts need to be stepped up, and do we need to do a better job of checking all shipment, even at ports?
Cargo planes are more vulnerable than passenger flights. I can't go into the percentage or what the difference is, but I think we do have to do more on cargo planes. As far as our ports, They are much more secure than they used to be. But the question with cargo planes, we have to deal with foreign countries. Often they resist. Even recently with passenger planes, we saw the head of British Airlines thought that we were pushing for too much security. So we can't back down at all.
Yeah, Congressman, I know you mentioned Yemen just a moment ago. Politically, how do you think we need to deal with Yemen on this?
The government in Yemen, our leaders, our intelligence people met with them today. We are demanding and expecting more cooperation from the Yemeni government. But the person in Yemen, which is Anwar al-Awlaki, he's the imam who was the head of Al Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. He is in Yemen. We have to do all we can to get him. He was behind the Christmas bombing. He was behind the Fort Hood massacre. I believe he was behind today's. Anything coming out of Yemen, that's Anwar al-Awlaki. He is one of the most dangerous men in the world right now. I think in some ways more dangerous than bin Laden.
Do you think that the Yemeni government is doing enough to cooperate with the U.S. government right now?
They are doing a lot, but not enough. It's an ongoing struggle we have to get them to do more. I believe they should be allowing us to do more, and I think this may give us the opportunity to increase our leverage on them. But no, this is a real area of concern, and we are not getting, I don't believe, enough support. We're getting, more than we were getting. The situation is being brought home to them, but hopefully this will enable us to make even more progress.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Congressman Peter King. Much of the focus...
the planes intercepted in England and Dubai did set off a wave of security sweeps on cargo planes at some of the busiest airports in the country. And today's plot highlights the vulnerability of the whole cargo system. 1,000 planes carrying cargo of some kind fly into the U.S. every day. Our senior justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, on the new measures tonight. Pierre?
Diane, tonight, U.S. officials are deeply concerned. This is the fourth Al Qaeda plot targeting U.S. soil in the past 13 months alone.
ABC News has learned that tonight, officials at this secure secret location outside of Washington are tracking every package coming from Yemen.
We cannot let our guard down for one moment. They are coming at us 24/7.
In response to the potential threat, today FedEx canceled all cargo flights emanating from Yemen. And the Department of Homeland Security warned Americans they would be seeing a series of heightened security measures in the coming days, including more passenger pat-downs and expanded random checks for explosives.
Even though it's not on the front pages, Al Qaeda is still as active and as intent as ever.
Every single piece of cargo aboard U.S. passenger flights is screened, but that is not the case on cargo-only flights. Screening on those flights is targeted, based in part on something that triggers suspicion. That is precisely why terrorists may have decided to target cargo flights.
They believe that cargo planes would not be as secure as passenger planes, and they're probing. There's always Al Qaeda and all its elements are always trying to find weaknesses.
Sources say the terrorists may also have mailed the bombs because they believe it is more difficult to obtain explosives here in the U.S.
When Al Qaeda is able to, for example, build a bomb in Yemen or in Pakistan or in Afghanistan, they have access to the destructive materials. They don't have to actually bring a person into the United States or rely on an operative in the U.S. What they're doing is relying on the courier service or the mail service and trusting that the package is going to get there the way that the courier says it's going to. And that, unfortunately, in a case where a bomb goes off, is a very bad delivery.
U.S. officials believe that Al Qaeda is desperate to hit the U.S. before the 10th anniversary of 9/11, and that's less than a year away, Diane.
But you're saying that they're targeting Yemen specifically. How do they know whether or not to target other countries in the region?
Well, Diane, that's the big question tonight. Is Yemen the only location that packages may be coming from? They just don't know. So right now they're going over other security measures that might be taken. That is the operative question tonight. Are there other locations other than Yemen that these packages might come from?
Okay.
Thank you, Mary. Just a few hours ago, I sat down with Congressman Peter King to get his insight on today's scare. As a ranking Republican on the House Homeland Security Committee, he received constant updates on the plot.
We did get intelligence, and we acted on it. And when you're given intelligence and you're told to look for a certain piece of cargo, look for it on a certain flight, and you find something there, then you know that there's been a real plot that's been stopped. And now what the purpose of the plot is, we're not certain yet. We're still early in the investigation, but clearly there was a plot which was stopped. And when you get corroborating evidence, when you're told to look for something, you look and there it is, you find an explosive device, you know that you're onto something very significant.
Do you think it's possible the goal of whoever or whatever was behind this was simply to create panic, to make us feel scared, and to create disruption?
We're not certain yet what the full scope and the full intent of the plot was, but the devices, as I understand it, were lethal. These were significant explosive devices, so it appears they were intended to go off. Now, were they intended to go off when the plane was in midair? Was intended to go off after the cargo was delivered? It's again, that I don't know. Or was it intended to go off, but just be a precursor to a more significant attack that's going to be coming later, to see what the response would have been?
Is this an example of how well the international intelligence community is working together?
If this attack had been launched on September 10th, 2001, it would have succeeded. This would not have been stopped 9 years ago. It was stopped today, and that is something that should assure the people of the United States, and especially the people of New York, since in many of these threats we are the #1 target.
So you're saying that the response today shows that the system works and is working?
Yeah, the system worked because we have layers of defense. Obviously, it was wrong that an explosive got on the cargo planes. But on the other hand, we got intelligence that was the next layer of defense, and that worked. And then we got the intelligence. We and our allies worked together, and we were able to stop the plot. TSA, the FBI acted here in this country, so everything worked.
Congressman, how many disasters can you tell us that we have averted because of this intelligence work, this kind of intel?
Well, I can think of at least 10 or 11 right here in New York that we've stopped, and others around the country. No, and there's others that sometimes when we publicize them, that stops it. The threats against Europe last month were very real, and we still don't know what the status of them is, but they haven't occurred, and that's a victory.
Congressman Peter King there.